Here are 10 rising AI and tech projects on GitHub right now. Ruflo is a control layer for running multiple Claude agents on one job. So instead of one long chat, you can split work across a swarm and coordinate the handoffs. The workflow seems aimed at operators. Get started fast, wire in retrieval over your docs, then choose where Ruflo sits between Claude code and your own tools. I like that it shows the trade-off plainly, more orchestration, but also more setup and system design to own. Txtai gives you one Python surface for semantic search, retrieval, and LLM pipelines, so you can index documents, ask natural language queries, and chain model steps without stitching together 3 separate tools. Where it gets useful is the operator flow. You can start with embeddings for search, then add prompts, agents, or graph-style workflows as the same app grows. That keeps prototypes close to production, with model choice and indexing strategy doing a lot of the real work. Awesome CV gives you a polished resume and cover letter template for LaTeX, so the job is basically turning your details into something that already looks hiring manager ready. The workflow seems pretty straightforward. Clone it, edit the sections in a .text file, then compile with LaTeX, which is why the typography and spacing looks so controlled in the preview. I like that it exposes the actual source, but that also means every tweak lives in code, not a drag and drop editor. Planka is a Trello-style board for running projects with lists, cards, and drag and drop task flow that you can host yourself. The part I like is the operator surface stays familiar while adding real-time sync, markdown on cards, and comments, so it works for a team without turning into admin software. Deployment looks pretty practical too, mostly Docker-based, which makes the self-hosted angle feel believable if you want control over where your project data lives. Presidio finds sensitive data in text, images, and structured records, then lets you redact it, mask it, or swap it for safer stand-ins before that data goes anywhere else. The workflow is pretty practical. One part detects things like names, phone numbers, or IDs with NLP and pattern rules, and another decides how to transform each hit. What makes it useful is that you can tune those recognizers and anonymizers to match your own compliance mess, not just a canned demo. Strix is an open-source security agent that probes your app for vulnerabilities and then suggests fixes. The workflow seems pretty practical. You can run a first scan locally, wire it into GitHub Actions or CI, and then hand results off to a hosted platform when you want a broader view. What makes it stand out is the graph of agents setup, where specialized testers split up tasks instead of one model, vaguely poking at everything. Grype scans a container image or a live file system and tells you which known security issues are inside before you ship it. The operator surface is pretty direct. Install it, point it at an image, and it matches packages against vulnerability databases, which matters because you can use the same flow on a built container or just a directory on disk. That makes it handy in CI, especially when the basics stay command line simple. Anomalib helps you spot defects and other outliers in images by training and comparing anomaly detection models without stitching the whole stack together yourself. The workflow is pretty operator-friendly. You can run experiments from Python or the CLI, tune parameters, then push the same model into inference and even edge deployment. That matters here because anomaly work usually falls apart at thresholding and reproducibility, not at getting one flashy heat map. Lima gives you Linux virtual machines on your Mac, mainly so container tools have a clean Linux environment to run in. The workflow looks pretty straightforward. Install it, launch an instance, and point Docker or Kubernetes-style tooling at that VM instead of fighting host quirks. That matters for AI and infra work because a lot of software still assumes Linux, and Lima keeps that boundary explicit instead of hiding it behind a heavier desktop stack. MONAI is a toolkit for building medical imaging AI, so you're training models on scans instead of wiring every pre-processing step from scratch. What makes it useful is the operator surface. It bundles data transforms, training loops, evaluation, and deployment pieces around PyTorch, which matters in imaging because small handling mistakes can wreck a study. You can install it fast, then jump into starter workflows and even Docker setups when the environment needs to stay reproducible. Subscribe to Build Things with AI for more GitHub AI tool roundups.